I'm unique New York, unique New York. I need unique New York.
Was that actually a thing, or was that just Will Ferrell in...
there's all kinds of like theater exercises. You did theater, didn't you?
There's a lot, but Unique New York was never one of them.
Great.
Oh, really? I learned that when I was...
We had red lorry, yellow lorry.
Right, well, we don't have lorries in the U.S.
I mean,
that was never a one.
Doesn't really help.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah, but that one was always too easy.
Leatherette.
Red lorry, yellow lorry is really hard saying 10 times.
Red lorry, yellow lorry.
Red lorry, yellow.
You have to say it in a British accent.
Red lorry, yellow lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry.
It's hard, right?
Laurel and what's the name?
Was also really difficult.
Judo Dojo.
Judo Dojo. It's fun. Judo Dojo.
Combine them.
My favorite one was always as a chip shop in space that sells spaceship-shaped chips. Because it was just fun.
There's a chip
as an
shop in space that sells spaceship-shaped chips. That's the same as the she sells seashells by the seashore.
Same thing you're using. But I just like the idea that there is a chip shop in space. And they're like, you know what? We need to theme it. Yeah. We need to theme it. We can't get away with just regular chips.
The chip shop at the end of the universe.
Welcome to the Ancient Robot Games podcast. As always, I am Dougal.
And I'm Gil.
And we are joined today, once more, our first ever returnee guest by the illustrious Judson. How you doing, Judson?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Again, it's happened. We're on our anniversary.
It's literally the word.
It is the word, anniversary.
It does all the work for you.
It did. I don't know why I had to add to it, but it is. We have been doing this for a year, nattering nonstop for way too long.
Yeah. Ryan heroically corralling us and telling us what to do.
Yes, and then us not listening and saying other stuff instead. It's been great. But it's even better to have someone back to come and talk to us, especially since you have exciting new game stuff that you're doing.
And thank God, because we'd have nothing else to talk about. We covered it all the first go.
That's it. We got through all of your creative juices. We squeezed them out last time we talked to you. But
Squeezing juices? Are we got in there?
What?
Yeah. No,
how
it's okay.
else do you make
That's
juice?
how you get juices, man.
How do you make juice?
Yeah, that's all right.
Are you making juice a different way?
No, I'm now thinking about juice squeezing and in all the formats that it comes in. So
I mean, there's a game in that.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure
I think it's been made, honestly.
There's a juice.
Minute Maid.
That's an American
that's
pun.
an American
That's an American
pun.
thing.
I think it might still come across. I don't know. But someone has mentioned to me that you have many personal demons, and you made a game about. No, you do have a new game that you were planning on releasing, though.
I do. Yes.
Called Personal Demons.
Yes, that's right.
It's very sad. We very briefly, I think, spoke about it last time you were on. It is
Did
a
we?
year
Was
ago.
I already talking about it?
You
Right,
were.
yes.
You
Okay,
were
yeah.
talking about it, but also you were gearing up for the expansion of Deep
Even
Regrets.
Deeper Regrets,
Yeah,
yeah.
even Deeper
Yeah,
Regrets,
yeah.
which went amazingly. Before we get into personal demons, how was that? How was that whole process?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's interesting making a sequel or an expansion. Like, I'd done Kickstarters before. Deep Regrets was not my first Kickstarter; it was my third one. But Even Deeper Regrets was my first expansion Kickstarter. And it's a very different experience. A lot of the work is kind of done for you a bit. Designing the expansion is a lot of work. But then the Kickstarter, the audience is already there to some degree. I still did marketing to try and attract new people and, capitalize on the buzz that existed around the base game. But then, it felt a lot. I see why people do expansions. It makes a lot of financial sense. It makes a lot of logistic sense, and it saves a lot of time. So I get why people keep churning out expansions. I probably won't do another one for Deep Regrets, at least not for a while. I don't like to flog a dead horse.
Deepest
but
regrets.
one, I felt like there was one expansion here, and I do feel like it adds quite a lot to the game. It's has just started arriving to backers in Canada first, which I think is kind of cool. I feel like Canada is often one of the last regions to fulfill. So really happy that they're getting theirs first. So it just started fulfilling literally today.
That's awesome.
Which is very exciting. So it's gone great. Reception has been great from the influencer scene, but I'm excited to see how the rest of the audience thinks it goes with the rest of the game, because I think it's just a unilateral improvement.
Well, so that's interesting in terms of how you think about that, and when designing an expansion versus a base game, because I guess in general board games are about it's this weird dynamic of constraints, but also you have overarching control about what constraints you're willing to put on yourself, I guess. So adding to that, the constraints about whether it's theme or expanding on the initial rule set, on the surface, that sounds incredibly hard, like multi-vector approach hard, right? Because you not only have to make a new experience, you also have to make it work with something existing. So how do you think about that? Or maybe...
I think it was easier with Deep Regrets than it is with some other types of games, because even Deeper Regrets is almost like a trading card game expansion kind of thing, like Magic the Gathering. Like, you know, they don't add like a new board or new concept to Magic when they bring it out. There's like some new keywords that appear on cards and stuff, but it's just more cards that fit into the game as it exists. And there are rules on those cards that adjust the way the game plays when they are played, but that's always been the way of Magic. Like if you understand how Magic works, you can pick up any expansion, and it takes a bit more reading than it would the average person that will recognize all the cards, but it means that you can just play it. And even Deeper Regrets is similar, where there's not really any new concepts introduced to the game. There are a few really small ones, but mostly it's just a bunch of new fish, which is great. And that's what I like in expansions. I hate expansions that really like increase the cognitive load for a game, or add things that feel extraneous, or like really extend the length of the game. And I like even Deeper Regrets because it doesn't do any of that. It's just more content.
I feel though that, like, at least as a player, that feels like an elegant response, but it feels like an oversimplification about how it feels in terms of as an expansion, because it does actually feel like there's more for you to do. You have a new location. You have a new, like, it as a player, it feels like there's all this that it was a jigsaw piece that you had to kind of design around, and so it feels like it could have been the original game as well. And so it feels like that's harder than just, you know, printing more cards, right?
Yeah, I mean, the goal with adding a new location was to give people a little bit more control in how much risk they wanted to take on, basically. It's not really a push your luck game. It's kind of a risk reward game. It's like, how much risk are you willing to take? You can't push your luck. You just take a risk and see how it pays off. And you can mitigate that risk in different ways. And one of the ways that the expansion adds is that you can choose a higher risk area, basically. Like previously you had the depths of the sea that you could go down to, and the lower ones tend to have more weird fish and have worse effects that could happen. And now you've got an entirely different area of the board that you can move to. So you get inland versus sea. And that means that not only is there the option of mitigating the amount of like fair versus foul fish you're seeing, like weird stuff that's going to drive you insane, but you have better options for using bad dice. Like that was one of the things previously. So you roll dice at the start of the day, and if they're bad, maybe that's a good day to go to port so you can refresh your dice and buy items. If they're good, you stay at sea and use them to fish. There's like inland kind of makes it, this is an oversimplification, but now if you roll the dice, if all of them are bad, you go to port. Like you got nothing to fish with no matter where you are, like you go to port. If some of them are bad, you stay at sea because you can use the bad ones as sinkers to go to deeper levels, which is great. If all of them are good, inland makes a lot of sense because you can just spend it because there's no sinkers required at inland. You can always fish from any of the shoals. And then the lock is an interesting thing too. I liked the idea of there just being like a lucky dip that you had no control over if you wanted to really take a risk. And there's some very good things in there. There's some very bad things in there. Some things you wouldn't be able to afford. And I do think that like the game just benefits overall from that additional decision making, which is great.
At what point did that come to you? So how much of this was, I guess, things that you thought of originally when you were making the game and you're like, no, we can't fit that in, or no, that's not the right time for it? How much of it was when the Kickstarter was running for Deep Regrets going, I really wish I could have put this in? And how much of it came like way after going, well, I'm making an expansion, what else can I do here?
A bit of both. Like I think that you take inspiration from interesting places, and literally I just wanted to do freshwater fish. And like part of it was running out of fish in the sea, like because I did, the expansion does have additional sea fish, and there's a lot more fish in the sea that I could do. But the problem is I'm running out of big fish because there are 3 sizes of fish, and there needs to be an equal proportion of those for the game to be balanced appropriately. And there are only so many large fish. Like you could get into like nitty gritties of like slightly different variations of the same type of thing, but like there's only so many sharks in the world. There's only so many like whales in the world. And it starts to get a bit boring and repetitive to just have those things showing up over and over in the game. So if I was to do another expansion at this point, I would be strapped for large fish, especially inland, because the number of freshwater fish is much lower than the number of fish in the sea. So I did the inland thing because I wanted a location, and also because it gave me a whole new world to draw upon for fish that could be included in the game, which was good. Like people keep pushing for like more expansions, and I definitely will not do one anytime soon. I'm keen to kind of explore new concepts and new things and do other things. But if I was to come back to it, it would probably be doing something where like there just are no fair fish. Like if there's a fourth depth that gets added, that's, you know, the hollow earth level that you could go all the way down to, and it's only foul fish down there. And I'm not restrained by what exists in the world. I can just make up things forever. That would be like a potential thing.
Never run out of creepy monsters.
Yeah, it would have to be a much smaller scale of expansion.
Or bottom feeders. Like,
bottom feeders.
You know, things that crawl around.
There's a lot of those in there.
Yeah.
Like the expansion, you've got like, what are the sea pigs, those little things that are on the bottom of the ocean.
Anemones.
I didn't get a volcanic snail in there, like the armor snails. Are really cool. The ones that like live on volcanic vents that have like, they grow these like feathered looking metal plating on their foot that protects them from the extreme heat. It's great.
It's almost too hard to find like actual creepy monster things when things at the bottom of the sea already hit that.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about that last time, how hard it is to like make things weirder than what's actually in the ocean.
Lizard people.
There's lizard people. I mean, not lizard
like,
people, but
you know, it like the underneath the hollow earth
in
thing.
the hollow earth.
Oh, no, they're already in the expansion.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Yeah,
of course they are.
Like weird lizardy looking merfolk type, really messed up merfolk. Yeah.
And so now, what's the journey been like now with personal demons in terms of? I mean, I think last time when we were talking, you're still very much in the development phase.
Yeah.
And so we're coming up to May 26. So where does it stand at the moment?
It's close to done. Like I am starting to think about filming the trailer. I was just talking to Dougal. I've got puppets that are created that were done by a great place in Musselburgh called Picture to Puppets. They came out fantastic. So like the game is pretty close to done. There's maybe some minor balancing things I want to do, but it feels the way I want it to. The artwork is done. The design is done. So, and I'm ready to kind of launch at any point. I need to get this trailer done and film a how to play video, but I'm just kind of in a marketing phase right now. So the game itself is ready to rock.
That's awesome.
And I love the way it came out.
Any kind of big changes that you went through in thinking about something that Dougal said earlier? Was there a mechanic that you've been hoping to include that you've decided, actually it doesn't fit? And it was maybe initially sad, but now that was for the best. That year,
of course, yeah.
but
that's like so many of them.
Like, what? How did you? So, if you're willing to share what one was, but also how did you? I'm curious about how that process is in terms of the stages of grief, but also just the stages of evaluation.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what we talked about last time, but like the elevator pitch for the game is it's like a therapeutic ritual where you get together with people and you're trying to overcome your inner demons, which are represented by literal demons. You've got like each player has a little summoning circle, and you're drawing from a hand of cards and placing it into your summoning circle, and then you're doing the pick and pass thing, Seven Wonders style, drafting and placing and trying to make seals that block these demons from getting out into the wild. And over the course of the game, like the more seals you make, the more points you get. Like originally, when I started designing the game, like the core mechanics really haven't changed. You've always got your little summoning circle, like the number of spaces things go in is the same, like the matching up sigils in the corners is still the same. It's just a lot nicer than it was previously. Like there used to be a lot of take that, where you could place certain types of cards into other people's circles to block them, or you would have abilities on once you've built up enough of a currency, which is sins, you could use those to some of these big demons would have effects that had bad effects for all the other players. And 100% of the time that just felt bad. the board state for each player is really complex. There's a lot going on there, and it's hard to look at a glance and understand what someone else is doing. So even though it's a drafting style of game, the possibility of hate drafting something strategically to prevent someone from getting it isn't really a thing, because it's very difficult to look at the person next to you and guess at what's going to be useful to them without spending 5 minutes analyzing what they've been doing. Like, you're aware of what you're working on because it's been from square one for you, but seeing what anyone else is doing. And that kind of informed the way the design worked. And I like that. I was talking to someone recently who was asking why it's a drafting game when those aren't rules, like that it doesn't really benefit from that. And the reason I like it is, one, it feels ritualistic. It's kind of thematically, like you're doing things in unison, which is like a ritual, like you're meant to be kind of like passing simultaneously. And it also, simultaneous action makes it go faster. Everyone can be doing stuff simultaneously. And it increases the amount of information a player is given on a given game. So like if you had a hand of 6 cards and you just played them all, you're looking at 6 cards and you're trying to decide how to use them most effectively. And you could do a game that way, but it's not very interesting, because you're not, like the puzzle is, how do I fit these things together as best as possible? When you've got a drafting style of game, you're constantly given new information. So I've got 6 cards, and then I've got 5 entirely new cards in the next hand. So in a 6-player game, you probably see like 18 or 20 something cards. I forget the exact count, compared to 6. So you're given a lot more information, and you're given new challenges to think about every single turn. And that changes, like in different player counts. Like in a 2-player game, it's very different, because you are seeing the same cards over and over, which is interesting. So you're trying to like anticipate so then there is a little bit, like only in 2-player, I think, do you start to look a little bit at what your opponent's doing and think about what they're going to be drafting and what that's going to restrict you from getting. And you're seeing the same cards come back and forth. So the game evolves very differently in higher player counts than it does in low player counts. And I like the way drafting adds to that. I mean, you could have solved it, like an alternate way to continually give people new information to deal with and make hard decisions about would be to just like always draw new cards every turn or something, but then that's slow. Like people taking 3 cards and considering them every time just would slow the game down. And I really like the ritualistic feel of picking and passing.
It definitely feels ritualistic. Yeah. I think also on theme, when you are thinking about people and like engaging rituals, there's also a secret, feeling of, what does this matter to me? What does the ghost think about me? What is and so I think the balance of, you have your own stuff that you're working on, but you're also having to have a little bit of a communal experience. It just feels very natural.
I see where you were asking about things that changed. Yeah. I mentioned like it used to be a much meaner game, and some playtesting at UK Games Expo actually last year kind of informed a shift there. I don't remember. It may have been Dougal. I may have been talking to you, in fact, or somebody. I was talking to someone about this.
If it was a good point,
and they asked a question. It wasn't this question, but it unlocked something for me. I forget exactly what happened, but I was like, oh my God, what if everything is really nice? It's a therapy thing. You're meant to be helping one another. What if everything is a very friendly like situation? I was reminded of something Elizabeth Hargrave said when she was talking about Wingspan, where people really like the birds that help everyone. There's like some birds that like everyone gets a worm, and they're so nice, and everyone loves you as a player when you put one of those down. Like you benefit from it, they benefit from it. And I was like, what if that's kind of like the feel of the game, where you're doing your own thing and things that happen only help you. So they're surprising, but they're always helpful. So now anytime like a special ability happens, it's something that benefits you as a player. So like when someone summons a big demon, you get to draw one of these courage cards, which ties into the therapy thing. Like other people making breakthroughs helps the group, like it's, you are making strides forward, and that gives courage to you to take strides forward as well. And that's really cool. And these courage cards are like player specific abilities, allow you to do certain things. And then like the big demons just have unilaterally good effects. So like when you summon a big demon, only other players get to do something special. So like you summon one, all other players get to draw and play a royalty card or whatever it is. And I really like the way that changed the game. And so, something like I never thought of the concept of pattern recognition in therapy, but someone called that out, and I thought that was really cool. Like, there were certain aspects of the game tied to therapy that I had to leave behind. Like originally there were some cards in it that were like medicine. Like I've been medicated for mental health issues in the past. I deal with depression and anxiety, and I've taken fluoxetine, which is Prozac, to deal with that. And it's been fantastic for me. I highly recommend going on medication if you have mental health issues. It helps so much. So I wanted to like work that into the game, but it just felt weird. So I left that behind. So I was trying to find ways that like this idea of it being therapy still came to life. And somebody mentioned just the fact that you're building patterns and like that recognizing the patterns helps you overcome your demons. I'm like, why? I got to put that. I don't remember. It was just someone in a comment on a social channel. Yeah. I'm like, thank you. I'm working that into the copy in the rule book. That is definitely like seeing the patterns helps you recognize the pattern and you can address it, which is great. Another thing that I changed was there was like a mechanical thing, like a functional thing. There's a score tracker that slid around this circular board, and it was really nice the way it felt because it's just a wooden thing that sits on the edge of the curve perfectly, and you like hold a little nib on it and slide it around, and it feels really nice to move, but it just got bumped all the time. Like that's the slightest movement in the board would send it flying, and like the increments between the numbers are too close together, and it's very easy to lose track of your score. So I had to lose that. Like there's still little trackers on the sides. So there's like a 10s and a 1s now, and they're much further apart and they have notches. It doesn't feel quite as nice to move it, but it was interesting how like manufacturing changes can affect the design of a game.
Well, speaking of that, when there is a game that has simultaneous play, things like Seven Wonders and stuff like that, my thought is what restricts player number, I guess. Outside, you're saying that this plays at 2 and it plays at higher numbers. Well, the thing is, simultaneous play, you're all playing at the same time anyway. The larger player counts really don't have much time when it takes to it. I guess the only thing that's limiting it really is space. And I mean, each player has a board and the amount of cards that you're willing to put in there that do different things in it. What was your kind of thought to restrict player counts? Or is it like, you know what? I'm going to go as far as I can based on how much demons I can draw. I
mean, this is another like kill your darlings moment for me. Like I always wanted it to be 6 players because demons. Like that was my intent from the start, was for there to be like to go up to 6 players as long as you had table space for it. And it is a bit of a table hog. Like each player has this thing that's like, I don't know, like a 20-inch circumference circle in front of them. So small tables can't really support many players. Ultimately, I moved away from it because of cost more than anything. I want it to be an affordable game. I want it to be something that's kind of in the Seven Wonders world for cost. It's probably going to be a little bit more expensive than that. There's not many components in Seven Wonders. It's just mostly cards, but this has all these like nice wooden components and stuff. But in that, like that's kind of the level of complexity of the game. I want it to be equal in price point. I didn't want it to be a premium price product, and I just could not make that work at 6 players. Like those circular boards are incredibly expensive components, and they like taking 2 of those out and the relative wooden trackers required to keep score on those gets the price down by like £10 or something. Like it's a substantial drop. And I'm going to still offer that because the number of cards is all you need to play with 6 players. Like that's what you were asking. Like I could add more cards to the game. It would increase the player count as long as you had the boards to allow people to play. But right now, the number of cards in the game only supports up to 6 players. So there'll be an add-on. Like you can buy a little 2-player add-on that like adds 2 player boards and 2 like score trackers to the game and will fit into the base box. But I didn't want to charge people for player counts they were never going to use. Like I imagine the majority of people probably will not have space or the like logistical coordination to get 6 people in one place at one time. That's really difficult as an adult to do. So yeah, I kind of made this decision like, a lot of people, solo gamers, are probably going to buy this also. Why should I charge them for 6 boards when they're probably going to use 1 to 3 most of the time? So it breaks my heart a little bit to not have 6 boards in a 6-player like a demon board. Yeah. And there is a solution to get them, which is good.
And you're saying all I need is 11 copies to get my full 66-player game that I need to really be on theme with this.
Yes, you could. It's like roll and write games, right? Like they usually like 1 to X players. Like you can play with as many as you want as long as you've got enough score sheets. Yeah.
Now that it's kind of getting to the point where it's almost ready to go, what's your favorite element about it? Like maybe it's not what other people see, but what's the thing that brings you the most joy?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Like, I like it as an artifact. Like as a whole, like the gestalt is really nice. Like there's a lot of little things I like about it, but like I feel like it came together really well. Like I've always wanted to make a game about mental health, and I guess that's my favorite thing, that it is a game about mental health. Like it's not immediately obvious. You have to kind of read the additional, Personal Demons does kind of imply it, and it says on the box, a therapy ritual. There's this like implication that this is about mental health, but I set out to make a game about mental health, and I made a game about mental health, and that's pretty cool. I don't think there's many out there.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The cards are beautiful too.
The cards are beautiful.
Yeah, the
I
artwork,
also love I love the different sizes of the cards and how they look together and layer on. Yeah.
There are a lot of things I like about it.
It's super cool, and you do have that kind of therapy side, I think, up front and center. But also, there is the word demons on the cover, and there are lots of demons everywhere. I imagine that some people, really cool looking demons, but some people will see the demons and go, "This is a demon game," and I imagine a certain thing. Have you had any difficulties with that side of things?
I haven't. I've had a few people kind of voice distaste for the theme, and I was aware of that going in. Like, demons are a touchy subject for like people from religious backgrounds or just even people that aren't from religious backgrounds view them as kind of like the most plausible of the monsters out there. Like, Bigfoot, maybe not, but demons, yeah, we could probably have those down beneath the earth waiting to torture me. So it feels like, and I kind of grew up like, I think this is the reason I like demons, because they're so kind of plausibly scary. I grew up in a religious background. Like I was raised Presbyterian, and I remember watching like The Exorcist and stuff like that, and it feeling slightly more real than Alien. Like there's like a plausibility to that when you're taught that these things could possibly exist. Like even the act of watching something like The Exorcist feels like you're tempting fate a little bit. And that's terrifying. If that's really where your belief system lies, it's the most terrifying thing. And I like that. I like being terrified. Like there was like a morbid curiosity there that like drove me towards these kinds of things. But I'm aware of that, and I'm trying to make it as approachable as possible. Like, knowing that demons are a touchy subject, I want this to be family-friendly demons. Like, and that comes to life in kind of two different ways. One is the color scheme. It's very bright. The backgrounds are all white. Like a lot of things that are based around demonic themes tend to be really edgelordy and dark and lots of reds and blacks. And I wanted the exact opposite. I wanted it to be a rainbow of colors that like has these demons. And then the artwork is very cartoonish. And I treated it kind of like Pokemon, where like the smaller demons are sillier looking and have tan lines on their butts and like just look like idiots. They're kind of fun. Like some of them are fun. And then the bigger they get, the more serious they become, like the evolutions of Pokemon or Digimon. Like the bigger ones are more like kind of Mewtwo is way more severe than any of the like base level Pokemon. So
I also say like every time we would see each other, you'd be excited about one like a research kind of rabbit hole that you went down and finding out about all of these weird demons.
Yeah.
What was that like? What were some of the funnier, or not maybe funnier, but more interesting, more exciting, things that you found? Because you're bridging different cultures, you're bridging different histories, and that just sounds like a heap of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. Yeah. I mean, I was already like very interested in like demonology as a subject, and it gave me an excuse to like use business money to buy books about demonology. There's like Penguin has a lot of good books that kind of go into like there's like the Penguin Book of Hell and Penguin Book of Demons that are really nice kind of like curated collections of religious writings and like different
Pokédexes.
Demodex. And that was really fun. A lot of that went into like one of the things I'm sad about with the game is there's so much information on the card. I couldn't put any flavor text on there, but I wanted there to be a world behind this. So there's like a whole book I've written that kind of goes into the lore of all the demons that it's sold separately, but I feel like stands alone as like this little tome of apocryphal knowledge. And even that I tried to make family friendly. It's about overcoming the demons. Like, here are their weaknesses. Here's how you're not learning about these things so you can summon them. You're learning about them so you can overcome them.
Yeah.
That's the theme, is around conquering demons, not about glorifying demons, while also kind of glorifying demons because they're cool.
Because the art's really cool as well. So,
I'm talking out both sides of my mouth.
So to be honest, just to go back, I've been completely sidetracked by the idea of demons with tan lines. Is that coming from the sun? Or if they are in hell, is there very strong lava? I'm curious about where your brain went.
It's the glow of the infernal fire, and they've got their little bikinis that sear these tan lines into them.
Of course they do. How many of these that you're reading all these books about demonology and all of these things? You say the Penguin books. How many could you find other sources for, and how many were you like, they just made something up? Because you could. I imagine an author going, I gotta write a book about 600 different demons. This one's Gerald, and he does. You could really throw anything out there.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled from two kind of.
Gerald is very important. It's a very crucial crucial demon to the game.
The most time.
Gerald, of course, we all know Gerald. We all know Gerald.
Yeah, kind of. There's like. I pulled from two different sources. One is like, religious texts, and one is folklore and mythology. So there's like demons of like Aboriginal mythology or like Native American mythology, and tried to weave a bunch of that in. The like demons in the Judeo-Christian tradition are mostly made up. There's a few mentioned in like the actually accepted biblical texts, and like the rest of it is stuff made up by someone unknown. There's like these texts called like the Lesser Key of Solomon that does not really exist, or it's like we don't really know whether it exists. That was supposedly written by King Solomon about all these demons that he interacted with and got power from. And then Aleister Crowley put together this whole like thing, like Ars Goetia, like, but none of it has any provenance whatsoever. It's just kind of nonsense. So yes, someone else did the same thing, basically. Like someone might find my book 200 years from now and be like, this is all the real demons. Like, cause I'm just a guy making stuff up. There's not really much basis for where this stuff comes from. Like a lot of them don't exist in any place other than one weird esoteric book somewhere.
Did you slide any of them in that only you made up?
I did include a couple. I tried to draw inspiration, and I dramatically changed most of them. Some of them kind of are based on the descriptions, but the descriptions get a little bit repetitive. It's like a lion with a man's face, a lion riding a camel with a man's face. They get a bit repetitive. So I tried to
my family.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
The one thing I didn't touch was Asian mythology, specific like Japanese demons, because there's so many of them. I thought if I ever did an expansion, that would make sense. I tried to like ring fence some things to like draw upon for future inspiration.
Maybe.
Yes. Yeah. There are some. There's some Middle Eastern and Arabic demons and stuff in there. I don't have like an Ifrit or a Jinn, but like I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. They're mostly like prehistorical demons and stuff like that predate the Islamic, that kind of overlap with the Judeo-Christian stuff. Right. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I can't wait to see the Japanese expansion. I
may never do it. Hey, look, it's not a game that lends itself very well to expanding. Honestly, I think it would feel very forced. Like it works really well. It's like kind of this like self-contained thing. And I like the idea of doing that. A game that doesn't expand, where it's just, you buy this thing and then you don't have to worry about keeping up with the rat race.
Or like, missing out on the expansion during the Kickstarter and then not being able to get hold of it and things like that. Are there any, so looking at the kind of expansion side of stuff, I guess that we were talking about with Even Deeper Regrets, what games did you see that you wanted to emulate when it came to expansions, and what games did you see that you were like, I think that expansion is not a good expansion or not worth it or detracts from the original experience of the game?
The one that immediately pops to mind is the Battlestar Galactica expansion. That includes what's the name of the other ship?
The Pegasus.
Yeah, the Pegasus expansion that just made the game like 3 hours longer. It's already a long game. Like there's a lot of expansions that do that. They just kind of tack on so much time to the game, and that's what I wanted to avoid. Is something that like in no way affects the length of the game. And that doesn't add too many new systems. Like Everdell's a good example of a great game. It has some good expansions, but they tend to just add so much complexity, and you're like genuinely not interfacing with some part of it at any given point. You have to kind of make a decision about which thing you're going to be doing if you've got too many expansions included. And I wanted it to be that the expansions are required. You have to interact with some portion of the expansion or you're being left out. Doesn't add time, requires you to interact with it, adds meaningful choice to the game. I'm trying to think of so expansions that do work well. Wingspan, I like the way they do their expansions because it's just more content. That's exactly what I was talking about. And that was probably a big inspiration to me. Like, just make the deck bigger. Like, stack that thing up and make there more things that I can potentially pull out of it. I can't think of any other offhand. I'd have to like really deliberate. I don't buy a lot
Well,
lot of expansions.
hey,
because I'm not a huge fan.
We've got next year's topic right now. You've got a year to do sort of things.
What other games have you been playing recently?
That was our next segment, which is our regular podcast segment that we always do, called Indiana Games and the Raider of the Lost Ark. So yes, what games have you been playing?
What have I been playing recently? I got to try a couple of games that had been on my list a while recently that were big ones from last year, like Moon Colony Bloodbath. Theme, obviously, very attractive to me. I enjoyed it. But not as I don't feel like the theme came to life in the ways I hoped it would. Like I never felt like I really like the way you've got like a resource that only depletes over the course of the game. And your goal is not to gain resources, it's to lose as little of the humans that you have working in your colony as possible. I think that was really interesting and kind of takes a minute for you to wrap your brain around. I'm not trying to gain them, I'm trying to mitigate loss, and that's cool. But I really wanted there to be more kind of brutality to it. You see it in the loss of things, but none of the artwork shows the bad stuff. It's all the like visually you don't see anywhere the bloodbath. You only see the moon colony. And that I found a little bit disappointing. I liked how fast it is. What else did I play that came out last year that I was very excited about? There's ones I haven't touched yet that I still want to, like Luthier and SETI and all these really big, heavy games that I never have time to sit down and play. Finally got Heat on the table. It's been nice. I'm really late to the party on that one.
Just turn down the burner. No?
I see what you did there. And I liked Heat. I had played Flamme Rouge, and I think Flamme Rouge I found to be a little too simplistic for my tastes. Visually, I like it better than Heat. I think the theme is cooler, and I think the artwork is nicer. But Heat, I think, nails the feel of racing a lot better than Flamme Rouge did for me. Like braking going into corners, like you don't want too much heat going into a corner. I thought that was a really nice mechanic. I thought I had fun with that. Played a really nice looking game the other day called Diatoms, which I actually brought in for Rob to inspect because he's working on a game that's similar mechanically, where you're trying to make a Victorian arrangement of diatoms on like a microscope slide. Visually, just absolutely gorgeous game. Really beautiful components. And I got it because it's got a lot of little tokens in it, similar to Quacks of Quedlinburg, or just Quacks. Because I'm thinking about, for my next game, making something that has a lot of little tokens in it. I've been trying to playtest a bunch of games that have lots of little tokens in it, see how they deal with it, how they make the components, how the gameplay works, how they make it feel not fiddly.
Nice, Gal.
Played quite a bit of Trio recently. Mine is tiny, but went and showed some people Trio and played like 2 or 3 hours of it.
Nice.
So just continually.
How many games of Trio is that?
I don't know, a lot. It was it's just more like it kind of turned into a bit of just a social chat, but you were able to just do it mindlessly in a way, and actually, that was quite enjoyable. So that was recent.
It's a great little game. Plays well with pretty much anyone.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I've been trying out Bruno Cathala's new ones, which makes me very happy. Bruno is one of my favorite designers, I think. He's done a new 2-player asymmetrical game called Castle Nightingale. One person is playing a red panda samurai, and the other player is playing a sequence of 3 cat ninjas trying to steal treasures out from under Castle Nightingale. It's a very, very clever deduction thing where the samurai's playing down colors of floor, which are the Nightingale floors, which are basically in Japanese shogunate times, they were floors that were carefully balanced so that they would make noise if someone stepped on them. So it was how you protected yourself against ninjas. You would hear someone coming. So they will play down floor colors face down and then a card face down, and the ninjas will do the same, and then they'll flip them over, and the ninjas will then move their way around the place, hoping to avoid what the samurai thinks they're going to land on, using things to leap over certain things. So it's not perfect programming, but there's a certain amount of programming involved in it. And then the ninjas can start their next turn from wherever their footprints are, because they can use secret tunnels to go from one side of the board to the other.
That sounds really
They can
cool.
start anywhere. It's so clean. It's so cool. It's actually one of the very few games that whenever I've taught it, I've never had to clarify any rules, because they're really well written in the rule book, and it just plays so nicely with lovely pieces.
Sounds like a bit like Kelp, where you've got one secret mover and like asymmetry between a 2-player situation.
It has slightly, you have asymmetry in your goals and how you maneuver, with the samurai being able to move through different colors, so they move a lot faster across the board, and the cards are different in what they do, but it's much less asymmetrical than Kelp because you are playing the same game and you're playing the same deduction on both sides. I think that's why I really like it. I think there's a lot of deduction games where one person is trying to deduce what the other person is doing and the other person is trying to hide.
Unilateral deduction.
Right? Whereas this, they're both trying to deduce. You, as the samurai, you're like, well, where are they going next? Because I got to put that colored floor tile down so that they hopefully land on it. And then I've got to move to catch them if I do get them. And then the ninjas are going, well, where are they going to put the nightingale floor down? Because I then have to move around that and I need to try and get to these pots at the same time. So it's genuinely, I think, really, really clever to have slight asymmetrical gameplay within what you're doing, but you're essentially both playing a card face down and you are playing on the same board and moving in similar manners. So it's got asymmetry, but not to the extent of I'm playing a completely different game than you, so therefore I cannot understand what you are going to do or your possibilities of things that you can do. It is all really, really clean. So I've been having a great time with that. So
I remembered another game I played recently that's worth talking about is Night Soil.
Oh, yes.
Have you checked that one out?
I have.
So, I mean, like, you can tell where I lean thematically. It's a game about shoveling poo in Victorian London.
Victorian
It's
times.
like literally the tagline is a very mature game about sanitation in Victorian London. Or Georgian Edward, I don't remember what it said. Anyway, yeah, like it's a like worker placement-y type thing where you're literally trying to move the most human waste into the Thames, like just dumping poo in the Thames. Really enjoyed that. There was some interesting mechanisms that actually felt like you're dumping crap on other people. You can literally like ruin someone by like moving a bunch of crap into their square. Like you're literally like just dumping poo on people. And it always felt bad. It was exactly like, do we curse on this podcast?
We can learn how to bleep.
You're just constantly on people, like thematically and literally on people.
It's really clean. Like it's terrible,
not clean.
terrible fun. But it is like this. How the game plays is actually very clean and much easier than I think I thought it was going to be. And it was a big buzz from Essen last year.
The movement is smooth.
The movement
is very smooth.
There's very few nuggets to get through.
It's also the art's really nice as well. For a game about poo, they did really good stuff with the art. It all looks a bit like medieval woodcuts and etchings and stuff, and the colors are very muted but vibrant. It's good.
Logs.
Yeah, just logs. There's no actual poo. Like I don't think they say poo anywhere in the game. It's all like
night soil.
Yeah, soil. Yeah, night soil, which just means poo.
It was great. I also really, really enjoyed that game. I think it did make a big splash in Essen last year. Yeah, I was for you, Gail, for you. That is all we have time for today. Thank you, Judson, so much for coming and joining us. My
pleasure.
I'm glad that we ended on poo. It's what we try to do.
I'm glad we finally got that one out.
Right. That's a full year that's been brewing. If you got any problems, you got any queries, if we didn't talk about your favourite game and you want us to, if you are having a date and you need help as to what to play
and
on
where
that date and where to play,
I am totally up for that.
Gelb is up for that, but if you already have someone else planned to go on the date with, please let us know your questions, queries, anything else you want to say at ancientrobotpod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to the Ancient Robot Games podcast. As always, I have been Dougal.
And I am Gelb.
And this has been recorded and edited by Ryan Scott. If you liked this, or didn't...
Even if you didn't,
please let us know in the comments or via email or Pigeon, if you got Pigeon.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like us, drop us a line. And if you don't, do this really, really cool thing where you press follow or like. It actually works against us. So we'll still get the message.
Thank you very much for coming and listening with us. And we'll hear you next time.